Spacey Sims, and we are back with more Hakuoki Ito Blossoms, and we are starting our final route today. We are starting Hijikata's route, and so this is like the end. So it's like I'm excited, but I'm sad at the same time. So we'll see how I feel when the game is totally over, but here we go. Yes! Anyway, this again. I like how it's like you've played this game too many times. We've gotten that twice now, but it's funny that we got it halfway through and then at the end. It must know, like, when you get to the last route, be like, again? Here we go again. Like, I don't know. Anyway, hold. Okay, the second I started recording, it was like, oh, now I need to sneeze and shit. So I've been perfectly fine all day, but whatever. Winter 1864! In order to find my father, with whom I'd lost contact, I, Spacey Ukamura, visited Kyoto. In that city, I bore witness to a horrifying secret hidden within a group called the Shinsengumi, the Fury, a creature with white hair and crimson eyes. This is the last time we'll have to read this. Luckily, I was saved from the vicious clutches of the Furies by Saito and Okita of the Shinsengumi, and perhaps most importantly, Toshizo Hijikata. They don't even mention him in Saito or Okita's routes. That's really funny. It's usually just the man, or sometimes it's Saito, and sometimes it's Okita, and sometimes it's Saito and Okita. Obviously, in their perspective routes, it's all three of them were there, but I don't think she's mentioned Hijikata before until now. But we were saving the best for last, I guess. Because I had discovered the Shinsengumi's secrets, it was proposed that I live with the Shinsengumi men, since they were also searching for my father. As such, I was to serve under Hijikata as the commander's page, a role I performed proudly. So thus began my life with the Shinsengumi. I'd heard rumors, well, whispers really, that the Shinsengumi was little more than a bunch of crooked ronin, but my life with them proved otherwise. Their commitment to protect the safety of Kyoto made them the last of a dying breed. True samurai. Again, I feel like I've memorized this. I think I say this in my sleep. It set them apart from those who only craved power. The man tasked with leading the Shinsengumi through these trying times was Hijikata, who perhaps was better known as the Demon Commander. However, as I spent more time with him, I realized that this facade was a front in order to motivate his men in times where victory seemed impossible. I feel like if I had to do a monologue at some point, just like off the cuff, just get up and do a monologue. I would just say this because I've read it about 37 times. Okay, 12, but I remember one such time where three men claiming to be demons, Chikage Kazama, Kyuju Hamagiri, and Kiyo Shihanui, confronted the Shinsengumi. 13 technically, because we read it in the Independent Woman round, so there you go. I discovered that I too was of demon lineage, which explained why they'd been pursuing me. But it was Hijikata who had been protecting me all along. Our situation, however, became increasingly dire. Anti-shogunate sentiments were growing intensely throughout the country, and the war between the shogunate and the Satsuma Choshu seemed inevitable. I can't say Choshu and then say any word after it that starts with an S, because I'm going to say Choshu Shim, Choshu Shoulders. Like, I just want to say shh, because it's Choshu. It's like I want to put an H in fucking every other word that comes after that. God, it's like they're dicking with me. Then finally, the Battle of Toba Fushimi had begun. In order to protect me, Hijikata had drunk the water of life, which transformed him into a fury, and overcame Kazama in a one-on-one battle. The Satsuma and Choshu, however, were victorious. So the Shinsengumi was forced into fleeing the city they called home, Kyoto, and headed for Edo. La 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 la. There should be like music for this. It's just the waves. You can hear the waves. I mean, I can barely hear them, so you probably can't. Ready for the achievement for starting his route, which cracks me up, by the way. They all do. They all crack me the fuck up. But this one's good. Hold on, I gotta sneeze again. Ha ha! Would it kill you to smile? It's fucking hilarious. Anyway. After arriving in Edo, we stayed at the Kama Inn, which was located in Shinagawa and had normally been designated for Hatamoto exclusively. A recent attempt on Kondo's life required that he and Okita, who had contracted tuberculosis, were to stay with Dr. Masamoto to treat their conditions. Losing the Battle of Toba-Fushimi and Osaka Castle, and Lord Yoshinobu, the Supreme Commander... Losing the Battle of Toba-Fushimi and Osaka Castle, and Lord Yoshinobu, the Supreme Commander, retreating. There's just a lot of ands and commas in that, and I didn't... Okay. The fate of the Shinsengumi grew bleaker, and troops began openly voicing their doubts and concerns. Yo, anyone know when Chief's coming back? He better not have run away just to save his ass like Yoshinobu. No way, he'd never do that. Look, all of you who are complaining are better off just focusing on the work we have ahead of us. Soma was the one to speak against the naysayers. Normally, such insubordination was met with harsh reprimanding, if not more, but things had changed. Hey, you guys are talking too much. If you got some time to screw around, how about you go sharpen your swords, huh? Yes, sir. My apologies. It wasn't just the tempers of the soldiers that were fraying. Nagakura and the others were just as tense. Harada watched the two men scurry off and sighed. Well, I can see where they're coming from. As soon as war broke out, the man at the top was the first to run. That doesn't get worse than that. Maybe, but I mean, what else would you expect? Wasn't the man a national loyalist from Mito? Well, Mito, but... He probably just pissed himself once he saw the Sacho waving the gold brocade flag. He can't look like much of a threat from their side of things. Gold brocade flag, the official flag of the Imperial Army. During the Battle of Toba-Fushimi, it was the flag used by the Satsuma Choshu to declare their allegiance. Don't give me that loyalist bullshit. You turn your back on your men, who are willing to die for you. All you are is a son of a bitch. Loyalist, a term for the philosophical and political leanings of those who supported the shogunate. So, what's gonna happen now? Kondo's stuck in bed. Even if we wanted to take it to the Sacho again, our swords aren't gonna touch him if they have guns. We're screwed. Nagakura sighed, letting his shoulders slump. If the men under you are willing to give their lives for your cause, the morale can always be raised, no matter what odds you may be up against. But Yoshinobu, in spite of this, chose to retreat. Then what were the Shinsengumi supposed to fight for? I'm serious. I was like really trying to hold back a sneeze as I was reading that. I was focused on that and I tripped over words. Well, we also know I can't read, so I don't know why. Anyway, what were they supposed to do? Future's looking pretty dark for us. Thinking about it's just bumming me out, though. Maybe we ought to head over to Yoshiwara. Yoshiwara? Really? In a time like this? Of course, you idiot. Times like this are when you gotta party hard. We gotta lift spirits somehow. Huh, does anyone know where Saito is? I haven't seen him around lately. I kind of just messed that up. I can't quite do his voice right now. You know me. Whatever. Nomura asked aloud, glancing around the room. It's not really in a room or outside, but whatever. You know. Saito is off to Dr. Masamoto's. He's checking in on the injured and sick. I see. I think I'm undone. Huh. Sorry. Winning the next battle was of utmost importance. I knew everyone was giving everything they had, but memories of the peaceful times back in Kyoto were like a candle flickering in the wind, one breath away from darkness. Sometimes I wondered... Sorry. The weather here has just been god-awful, and, like, I have not, like, had, like, a break for... Well, okay, it's not as bad as the other day with allergies. Like, I thought I was gonna die, but it's just still, like... They're just there, and and it's fucking annoying. Like, fuck the weather, man. Like, fuck it. I don't know why, like, the change in pressure or something does this every time. It's like, stop. Stop! I need to move somewhere where the weather never changes. Some utopia. Anyway. I wondered if those memories really happened at all. And normally I would just be like, I'm not gonna bother recording, but we've got to get everything done before Christmas. By the time you're seeing this, Wait, is it? I don't even know what day this goes up. I don't even know what episode this is. You know, you'd think I would know these things, but I don't. Hold on. I do know. Oh, it's after Christmas. Yeah. I probably forgot to say Merry Christmas to people who celebrate Christmas on the episode that was going up on Christmas, but that's because I don't record them like right before. I mean, like I'm literally recording this all. It's not even mid-December yet. Welcome to the end of December. But I have to do this beforehand because, you know, I won't have time the week of Christmas or the week after. So, anyway. One day, an unexpected guest had visited the Kama Inn. You know the drill. I've explained this 500 times. Hello. It's been a while. Oh, Iba. Oh, I believe you were Iba, was it? Oh, it's like you don't even remember him after the time we spent. Which obviously, you know, didn't happen, but... Hachiro Iba, the eldest son of one of the oldest and most respected dojos in Japan. He is a master of the Shinkyoto Ryu martial arts, and his prowess granted him prestige among warriors and officials. I don't know if I said that right, but whatever. Yes, I've come to discuss some important matters with Toshi. Would you mind taking me to him? I don't remember the voice I gave him, so it's just whatever. Sure, please wait a moment. He's like, you don't remember me. We were friends as kids, and I promised to protect you, and you don't remember me. I know, we're such a bitch. Sometime after I led Iba to Hijikata's room, murmurs of conversation suddenly became exclamations. Toshizo Hijikata, too. After drinking the water of life during the Battle of Toba-Fushimi, he becomes a fury, persevering through immense, agonizing pain by working day and night to make up for Kondo's absence. Persevering through immense, agonizing. Yeah, so I should learn to read. Wait, look, he looks happy. He's happy to be a fury. He's faking a smile right there. I don't know. It's like happy Hijikata. You never see that. See? You never see that shit. That's the face, that's the resting bitch face we always see. They shouldn't call it resting bitch face. They should call it Hijikata face. But we only have this game to go on, so, you know, it's not accurate, I guess. I don't believe this is an accurate representation of the time period. It's really just how Hijikata talks. Nothing to do with the Furies or the fact that they're all beautiful. They probably really, and I don't think they really were. Like, so, you know. Anyway. Let's see if I can do this. I don't know if I can do his voice right now, but I'll try. Anyway. What? Are you sure? I can't do his voice. I couldn't. Ah, fuck. I gotta... Sorry. Like, it's gonna be a mess. Yes, supposedly an urgent matter has come to his attention, meaning he can't meet with us. No, we need to talk to him. I don't care how. If we don't, we're stuck here. I'll go. And with that, Hijikata stormed out of the room. It sounded like he ran. It stormed out of the room in a fit. He looked awful when I had come in. Really, all I could hope for is that he'd be all right. Did something happen? Hijikata planned to meet with a member of the Bakushin today, but I'd gotten word that he planned on not showing, so I came to notify Hijikata. Hijikata had been attempting to gather Shogunate support to launch another campaign against the Satsuma Choshu by meeting with Shogunate leaders. And you know what? If you didn't do that, and you just like, whatever, maybe everybody could have lived. Oh my god, Hijikata, you killed all of our friends. It's all your fault. Stop having pride, goddammit, and just quit while you're ahead like everybody else. However, the unwillingness of the Shogunate leaders to entertain Hijikata's desperate initiative means... Do you think the Shogunate doesn't want to fight against the Imperial Army anymore? I mean... Oh, whatever the case, Lord Yoshinobu has deferred military control to the Imperial Army. My superiors have instructed me to not make any rash decisions in the meantime. Honestly, in times like these, I'm a little envious of Toshu because he can do as he pleases. Yeah, I'm not really necessarily sure that's a good idea, but okay. Men, right? Anyway, I'll be leaving now. Please send my regards to everyone. Oh, sure, of course. I'm sorry that I couldn't offer you more courtesy in your stay. He's like, well, Hijikata ran out of here, so what were we going to do? Shortly after Iba had left Kama Inn, a familiar figure approached to ask me something. Yugamura, is the commander inside? Oh, you just missed him. He stepped out. Do you have business with him? What are we, a secretary? Like, do you have business with him? Like, what's up, Shimada? Like, geez, ever since we got here in Edo, he's been working non-stop. I know. I seriously wonder how he finds the time to sleep, if at all. He doesn't. As far as I knew, Hijikata should have been suffering in agonizing pain during the daylight hours because of because of his condition as a fury. Because of condition as a fury. His condition as a fury. Thanks. However, seeing him work as tirelessly as he does, one would have no clue of his affliction at all. Shimada, are you okay? You look a little more gaunt than usual, like you've lost some weight. He's like, thanks, I'm on this new diet. Well, ever since Yamazaki passed away, I have had a lot more work to do. Oh, you had to bring it up. Why am I surprised? At this point, why the fuck am I surprised this game rips our heart out? But he left it to me, and I'll be damned if I dishonor his memory by messing it up. And after seeing how far the commander's pushing himself for us, it wouldn't feel right if I just sat around all day, you know? I suppose. She was like, I don't know, I'd like to just sit around all day. That's what I do. I knew how Shimada felt, but he was actually in a position to contribute. Unlike Shimada, there was nothing I could do for Hijikata, even though I yearned to be involved and do whatever I could to help him. Oh, the day he died, Inoue had told me that while I might not be much help to the Shinsengumi as a warrior, there were other ways that I might be of service. They didn't even give Inoue a line. They were like, nope, nuh-uh, not even. But what could I do for them? Because they wouldn't have, they wouldn't pay the actor to come back and voice one line, you know what I mean? Harsh, man. I thought about that every day since Inoue and Yamazaki had. Well, I've got plenty more to do, so I'll be on my way. Oh, yes, of course. Please be careful. By the way, I heard there are a lot of killers on the streets these days. Creeps are looking to test their swords on the living body. Don't travel alone, okay? Okay. Thanks, Shimada. You're a good home slice. Shimada nodded, then he lifted himself heavily to his feet and left. Later that night, I was waiting in the empty common room for the captains to return. I sat idly, twirling my hands and my fingers when I saw... Evening, Spacey! Oh, hey, Skate. Where's everyone else? Shin and Sano took the men to Yoshiwara. Wouldn't you believe it? They left me behind a house sit. Man, I'm not a servant, you know. They can't keep giving me this kind of bitch work. Well, I guess it's cool they're acting like usual. To me, I mean. Like nothing ever changed. His laugh sounded small and lonely in the empty hall. Oh, that reminds me. Do you know where Sonnen is? Did he go somewhere? Okay, let's not make him an asshole on this route, okay? I can't handle it. Yeah, I heard he's out on patrol. Patrol? But we're not in Kyoto anymore. No one's asked us to keep the peace in Edo. Why is he still doing it? Heisuke's face turned solemn, as if he were quietly searching for words while I waited in front of him. And then... The sun has been acting weird lately. Like, just today, as soon as the sun went down, he told me he was leaving on patrol. I asked if he wanted me to go with him, but he said he'd be fine on his own. It's because he's falling apart and he doesn't want anyone to know. We know what's happening. Every now and then he falls apart. Let's not cry too much, guys. I mean, seriously. He's cracking. That's why. Now we know why. Also, probably a little bit of the blood loss madness, but I'm going to say it's because he's literally falling apart. Oh. Well, I heard that there have been a lot of killings at night recently. Maybe he went out to see if he could learn anything about that. And in his route, yes, he does. He might not have the same authority that he had in Kyoto, but the Shinsengumi still worked for the shogunate. Perhaps Sonnen was simply trying to protect Edo, regardless of whether he'd been asked to or not. Well, if that's the deal, then good. Heisuke didn't really sound like he actually thought it was, however. Hold. Sneezing is bullshit, man. Oh, Hijikata! Welcome back! You're still up? His face was still pale, but his tone was sharp. As I watched, I realized that he was only barely standing. He shook just slightly as he moved, and I got the feeling that if he let his concentration slip even a little... Oh my god, I can't speak. If he let his concentration slip even a little, he would simply collapse. His legs wobbled underneath his kimono, and he curled his lips bitterly. There was something wrong, but what should I say? For a second, I thought the guide said, "Is there something I can do?" And I was like, "I don't have that option." I was going to be sarcastic. You know what I mean? Obviously. Yeah. Is there anything I can do to help? I knew what the answer would be, but I couldn't help asking. No, I'll just stay put and stop thinking about that. Oh, I see. Even though everyone else was working themselves to the bone, barely sleeping or eating, all I could do was sit around, useless. Hey, don't give me that look. Oh, I'm sorry. I realized as my words came out that it only made things worse, and apologizing would make me sound more miserable. That wasn't good at all. I needed to be more cheerful. If I couldn't help, the least I could do was not bring everyone down. Aw. It wasn't the butterfly point, it's that adorable little, like, oh, come on, that look on his face. You don't need to worry about us. Just go make some tea, all right? Your tea isn't that bad, I guess. Hey, my tea is amazing! My tea brings all the boys to the common room, so shut up. I'm pretty sure we've been complimented on our tea in other paths, so I'm just saying. Okay, I'll be right back. I ran off to the kitchen with a grin on my face. Hijikata's words cheered my mood, even just a bit. Hijikata, you put up a good front, but you're really pretty easy on her. Shut it. Here you go. I can only find some Rakugan to go with the tea, but... Oh, whoops, I almost didn't read that. Rakugan, a dry confectionery made with rice paste, sugar, and starch syrup, which is then colorized and shaped into bite-sized portions. Huh. That's fine. I have to get back to work as soon as I drink this anyway. Are you sure you're going to be all right? You're a fury now. You should be sleeping during the day and working at night. Hijikata didn't answer, instead choosing to sip his tea and sit in silence for a long, drawn-out moment. When we were leaving Osaka Castle, Kondo said something to me. He said that if he were the shogun, even if he only had 200 men, he would have locked himself in the castle and fought until no one was standing. And then he would have gutted himself like an honorable warrior. You know, he's stuck in his bed, shot in the shoulder. He'd die for any one of us, and we all know it. Sure, I feel like shit, but that doesn't mean I get to rest. The prospect for handing over a fully functioning Shinsengumi to his friend brought a gleam in his eye. Shinsengumi to his master and friend. Wait, what? The prospect of handing over a fully functioning Shinsengumi to his friend brought a gleam to his eye. Shinsengumi to his master and friend. What? Okay, sure. If the rest of the men worried because their chief was wounded by a coward's bullet, Hijikata was buoyed by the simple fact that Kondo was alive and that he had the courage to do what other leaders would not. It's like they didn't need to. I get the ... and then you click, but why did they need to do the pause and then the transition and then it takes too long to finish the fucking sentence? And you're like, dude, it's one thing to click, but not like, well, now we have a transition, like it's totally separate thought and it's the same sentence. Like, that was fucking weird. Right after a sentence that made no sense, but anyway. He finished his tea quickly and returned to his room with only perfunctory thanks. Yesterday, his light had stayed on late into the night. Today would likely be no different. I got a bad feeling things are just going to get worse from here. You and me both, Toto. Hijikata's a fury, but it doesn't look like he's starting to feel the bloodlust yet. Bloodlust? When you become a fury, if something happens to you and, well, sometimes you really, really want to drink blood. Like, you need to. It hurts, not like how it hurts when you get beat up during sword practice. You want to die, just because that'll make the pain stop. Oh no. Hijikata already looked terrible. If unbearable pain were suddenly added to his list of many burdens, don't worry, it won't be. We're going to give him blood, because that's what we do. Oh, Lord. Is there any way to do anything about it? Well, if you drink some blood, then it goes away almost immediately, but only for a while. Yeah, only for the next chapter. And the longer you go, the more painful it gets. At first, you only need a little blood to feel better, but after a while, you need more. And pretty soon you need a whole lot of blood before it goes away. You say this like you are the one murdering people out there, Toto. Hey, Skay, what have you been doing? I was at a loss for words. A monster that can only survive by drinking human blood? It seemed like the kind of monster that you could only hear about in legends. Yeah, the vampire ones. I mean, what? What about you, Hayskate? Are you, drinking blood? Come on! You can't ask me that! He made some manner of excuse after that, and then shut up. Yeah, he doesn't want you to know, because you'll look at him weird. He departed from the common room quietly, leaving me alone with my thoughts about Hijikata. Was he really okay? Yeah, no, probably not. Not at all. Had Hijikata already experienced the bloodlust Heisuke told me about? Did he refuse to tell anyone about his suffering? He couldn't have been in the throes of it when I saw him, but it was clear that sooner or later he would find himself in a great deal of pain. He was doing so much for the Shinsengumi. I wanted to do something, anything to ease that pain. I know. He'd been doing research on the Furies. Perhaps he'd left something useful behind at my house. Or the one that used to be mine. He had been doing research on the Furies. I think she's supposed to say her father, because Hijikata wasn't, but it made it sound like she was talking about Hijikata and then she said he. So it was already too late to visit, so I resolved to go the next day and see if I could find anything. And Hijikata's going to find us there. How dare you leave? I didn't tell you to leave. And then have his bloodlust issue, because the next choice is give him blood, so I'm just, The following day, I left a neatly written note behind at the inn for anyone who may have been wondering where I was headed. I departed for my old house in Edo. Hijikata left long before me to meet with several members of the Shogunate elite. No one had apparently visited the house in several years, and everything was covered in a thin layer of dust. Now, where would he keep his Fury research? It must be somewhere hidden. I brushed some of the dust off a stack of documents and opened them up. Each one was covered in barely legible scribbles. It would take me forever to decipher them. Now, this was nothing compared to what the rest of the Shinsengumi went through. I had to do it. Shoot. I guess that wasn't it either. I sat back on the floor and sighed heavily as my eyes dropped to look at the dusty, unkempt floor. Dusky. How foolish I'd been to think I could waltz into my house, find my father's secret documents, and solve something that had plagued the Shinsengumi for years. No, I couldn't give up. I had to keep trying. Sooner or later I'd find something. Hijikata and Heisuke needed my help. I had to find something. From the corner of my eye, I noticed an earmarked fold in the stack. Huh? As I flipped open a particularly thick sheaf of papers, a small stack fell out and landed on the floor as a cloud of dust floated from its landing place. It appeared to be some kind of... Was it a formula? Is this about the Furies? As I studied it, I realized what I found. The paper described a medicine that could suppress the Furies' bloodlust, keeping them from losing control. The idea of Hijikata or Heisuke losing control was frightening, but I read on. Whoa, 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 whoa. The fuck? The idea that Heisuke or Hijikata could lose nothing about Sonnen. Why is she such a bitch to him? You know what? I just have a problem with this. There's a lot of people who play this game who don't like Sonnen, and that makes me angry just on his behalf because he's a sensitive, delicate soul. But even she's being a bitch. Like, what the fuck? Girl, not even cool. Not even fucking cool. Wow. Shamed. It seemed that my father had returned to Edo just after I'd left for Kyoto. While he was in Edo, he'd mixed up the ingredients for the medicine. I looked over the instructions. The ingredients he'd used were likely still in the warehouse. With his instructions, I should be able to mix it myself. This shouldn't take too long, right? And with my father's medicine, I could save Hijikata, Heisuke, and Sonnen. Oh, now you mentioned Sonnen. You know what it is? I can't imagine, like, Heisuke and Hijikata losing control. Sonnen I could picture. So harsh. I was going to seize this opportunity to help them. I ran to the warehouse and got to work. Come hell or high water, I would finish this. By the time I finished, night had already fallen and moonlight peeked through a sliver of an open window. I remembered what Shimada had told me about how many murders there'd been at night lately, and I stuck to busy streets as I made my way back to the Kama Inn. Oh. I was going to say, anyone going to show up? I mean, I know we said, oh, because there was a person, but it's like, oh. 20 minutes, 2 hours later. Just as I arrived, Sanan and Heisuke were leaving. Their backs were turned away from me, so I called out to them to make sure they'd hear me. Sanan. Oh, you're back rather late. It's dangerous out there, you know. You shouldn't be out at night all by yourself. You could stay with me to keep me company. What? Nothing. I know. Forgot. I'm sorry. We're in Hijikata's path. Not, but still. It's Sanan. Guys, I love him. I'm sorry. I meant to come back earlier, but I was so busy and I just kind of lost track of time. And anyway, I've got something for you. I handed Sanan the medicine, which I'd wrapped in small pieces of paper. What's this? It's medicine to suppress the fury bloodlust. I went back to my house today and found instructions for how to make it. It should make the pain go away, at least for a little while. And he's like, and you're giving it to me? Well, because I think you might be the crazy one. No. He looked down at the paper I'd handed him, then back to me. Sanan bit his lip coyly before looking into my eyes. That sounds sexy. We're not in your path. Oh, you. Me. Lightly pokes him in the chest. You. Don't look at me that way. I'm easily swayed by Sanan. Thank you, but no. Your gesture is certainly appreciated, but it isn't needed. Huh? Oh, wait, but without it, you're not one of us. So to you, the bloodlust might seem odd or wrong. However, the more one tries to suppress it, the greater the pain becomes. And this medicine would be a minor reprieve, and nothing more. But... Excuse me. I must leave for patrol. Good night. Oh, Sanan, that hurts me. I got you a gift. Before I could protest, he was gone, walking briskly down the dim, open street. He's embracing being a vampire. Without the medicine, what would Sanan do when the bloodlust came? To not only acknowledge, but accept this insatiable craving as part of one's life seemed beyond me. Well, that's because you're not a vampire lover. I mean, technically, yes, because you love the boys that are vampires, but you know what I'm saying. Oh, no. I remember what Kimigiko had said to us back at the Fushimi magistrate's office. See? We don't, because she is still, but in a way, we don't get to hear, like, we don't read the line. It's just, he said this, and we just see his face. Because I didn't want to bring it back for literally, it was one line. It's the only time. We barely mentioned Inoue at all. And then you are aware that the Shinsengumi's Furies have been murdering people on the street to test their strength. No, it couldn't be. It was the Shinsengumi's job to protect Kyoto and its citizens. Surely Sanan wouldn't attack people in the street just to satisfy his thirst for blood. No, he wouldn't. Have faith in him. Hey, Spacey, I'll take that. Can I have it? No! I made it for Sanan, not for you, Heisuke. Throws it away. Just kidding. But it's almost like, can I have it? No. Of course. We made it for both of you. Oh, yes. Yes, of course. I handed him the packet Sanan had so recently refused. He stuffed it into his pocket as he stared off down the street at Sanan's rapidly retreating back. I'm gonna go on patrol with him. If he does something weird, I'll stop him. So don't worry, alright? Alright, I'm counting on you, Heisuke. Oh, right. Where's Hijikata? Is he back yet? Yeah, he came back earlier in the evening, but he locked himself in his room. Not a peep from him since. I'll get a peep out of him. Oh, I'm gonna go check on him then. Heisuke and I said our quick goodbyes, and I made my way into the Kama Inn and up to Hijikata's room. Ooh, girl. Slinking into Hijikata's rooms. I was hoping that the wave of anxiety I was feeling was a needless one, but I had a very bad feeling about something as I called out to him from behind the sliding door. He's having bloodlust. Sorry. Hijikata, are you there? I've got something for you. Nothing. I was about to turn away, assuming he was asleep when... Grrr! The suppressed voice was clearly in pain. Hijikata, I'm coming in. What if he was having alone time? That's so disturbing. I think he would learn to be quiet. Like, that could be traumatic. Ah! What the hell? Or what if he had like what if he had a hooker in there? I'd hope he wouldn't. You go to them. You don't bring them to you. There's, but still, you never know. Or one of the other Shinsengumi. I mean, seriously, someone had to be gay in this whole group. Like, there had to be at least one. It's a lot of group of guys all together. I'm just saying. I slid the door open and ran into the room. Shouldn't run in the house, it's rude. He was bent over on top of his desk at the back of the room. Sweat poured down his face, and I could hear his teeth squeak horribly as he gritted them. Ow. He looked... Hijikata, are you okay? I rushed over by his side. You idiot. Just shut up. But... This'll pass any time now. Don't get all worked up over nothing. Just leave it. He wrapped his arm around his shoulders and squeezed until his knuckles turned white as he glared up at me. His breath came in pants, and he shivered violently. This is going to be our first CG. It was Hijikata's personality to refuse to show any pain, or even any emotion at all, or at least to show as little as possible. For him to be like this, the pain must have been unimaginable. Was this the bloodlust that Heisuke had spoken of? I mean, he's in Fury form, so I'm guessing. I mean, obviously we've done this a million times, so I know for a fact, but also, you should make that guess, What was I supposed to do? If he drank the medicine my father had created, then the pain would likely go away. But Sonnen had said it would only be a temporary solution. Then, should I give him some of my blood? Would Hijikata even want me to give him my blood? What was I going to do? Sneeze. Yep, it was gonna sneeze. We're gonna give him blood. There was no time to waste. See, this doesn't bother me. I mean, there's a little bit of the, wow, it's the same old thing. But at the same time, it's actually kind of like we had that nice little break in Kazama's where we didn't have to. So it's not as, plus it's Hijikata and we're at the end. So it's like, she's going to be annoying and piss me off and do something stupid. But, oh God, did I read that? It wasn't the best plan, perhaps, but I couldn't bear to see him in pain any longer. Sorry. And besides, at long last, I would finally be useful. Hijikata shook fiercely, and I could only gaze in horror as I imagined how unbearable the pain was. I said nothing and drew the kodachi I kept at my waist. Ooh, where's she gonna feed him from? Hey, what the hell is this? I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna put you out of your misery. I slid my finger along the edge of the blade. Seriously? There are other ones you feed your neck to, and it's sexy as shit, but Hijikata, it's like, here's my finger? Really? This is not as sexy, and Hijikata deserves better, is all I'm saying. Anyway, which I barely felt, a bead of thick blood formed over the cut. Please, drink my blood. It'll make you feel better, right? What the hell? I can't do that. His clothes were drenched in sweat, and he shook like a leaf being swept by the wind. This was it. I couldn't back down. This was my chance to do something for him, to make a difference. I'll force you to! Force blood feed him. That's just so inappropriate. But perhaps most importantly, I just couldn't watch him suffer anymore. Don't worry about me, please. I begged him desperately as I offered him my finger oozing out with blood. Ugh. God, why did they gotta give you the graphic descriptions? Though he tried to resist, his eyes were drawn to my finger, to the thick red blood that slowly beaded and dropped. He balled his fist tightly, but he couldn't resist. You're an idiot. A girl shouldn't cut herself up. No man's gonna want to marry a girl covered in scars. That's offensive to, like, women that might have scars or, like, stretch marks or, like, any imperfections. That's, like, douchey. Wow. Yeah. Okay. Whatever, dude. Beggars can't be choosers, alright? Plus, I'm a demon. It'll heal perfectly fine. So, shut up. Then he licked the blood from my finger. I felt the soft caress of his tongue as it ran the length of the cut. Then the soft pressure of his teeth and lips as he sucked gently, drawing a few more drops out and into his mouth. I'll be fine. I'm a demon. I heal really fast. Where the fuck is the CG for this shit? The fuck is the CG? Where the fuck is the CG? Are you fucking kidding me? Where the fuck is it? Doesn't matter. Demon or not, you're still a girl. Nice catch, Captain Obvious. His breathing had already begun to calm itself, though his hand Through his hand on my wrist, I could feel his shaking subsiding as well. You fucking kidding me? We didn't get a CG for that? Every other fucking one we get CGs and we don't get fucking CG? We're not gonna... No CGs for that? Fuck you, game. At last, I thought, I was able to be useful. A few moments later, his hand slipped from my wrist. The cut on my finger had already healed. The split in the flesh began to seal before my eyes, and I stood quietly as Hijikata winced. I'm sorry for being so, forward. I, um, I bowed to him. No. He took a quiet breath and shook his head. A sense of calm seemed to emerge from him. This isn't the time to be pretending that I'm fine. I know that. I want to make sure Kondo wins. Then I don't have a choice. I have to become a monster. Absently, I touched my fingers to the wrist Hijikata had taken when he drank my blood. A peculiar feeling lingered on the surface of my skin. It was almost as though I could still feel his warmth there. We didn't get a CG for that. What the fuck, game? What the actual I'm just a little... I'm miffed. I'm fucking miffed. We didn't get a CG for that. It's fucking Hijikata. He's got more CGs than fucking anybody, I think, basically. But still, he's up there with them, almost the max, if not the max. Where the fuck are they? We're like halfway through chapter 1, bitches. Even after the events of that night, Hijikata pushed himself just as hard as before. He visited the shogunate officials whenever he could find the time. Eventually, his work began to pay off, and they were given one of the Hatamoto mansions to use as their headquarters. Between his demanding schedule and Fury-related difficulties, I knew he had to be in miserable condition, but he was determined to give Kondo his war. This alone seemed to sustain him and drive him forward. Perhaps the gods took pity on him. My apologies for worrying you. Welcome back, Chief Kondo. I just couldn't wait for this day to come, sir. Oh, please, you flatter me. But in all seriousness, thank you. I'm truly appreciative that I'm able to join all of you again. I'm sure you're all wondering what's next. First, we'll head to Kofu. We've been ordered to ambush the Imperial Army. Do we have to go through this whole thing again? It's like... Because you know what I mean? Like in the first game, we didn't have to read everything all over again each time we skipped through it and just read the different things. But this time it's basically like reading the same thing over and over. It's the only thing I don't like. We have to go through this whole thing and it's like, oh, we have to go through and then Nagakora's going to bitch about it and then... fuck my life. You know what I'm saying? Anyway. The Shogunate's given us 2 cannons, a number of small arms, and funding. We must have done a meritorious deed. I know it's slightly different, like, the phrase, like, you know what I mean? They say slightly different things, but it's basically the same thing over and over. And it gets a little much, that's all I'm saying. I was over the blood thing, but I'm like, I do feel like I've read the same thing 400 times. Kondo was promoted to executive lieutenant minister and Hijikata to vice minister prior to their mission. Vice minister, an executive position within a feudal holding, considered just below a daimyo that manages the distribution of rice and salaries amongst the serfdom. It was a momentous honor, although some of the other men were hesitant to find cause for celebration. Cue Nagakora. There you go. Hey, Kondo, who came up with the idea of having us guard Kofu? Hey, it was... Awanokami Katsu. Awanokami Katsu. That name does not roll off the tongue nicely. It's actually not bad, but it's a mouthful. Anyway, why? Is that a problem? I've heard a lot of rumors about this Katsu guy. He's famous for being a pacifist. Why would somebody like that give us cannons and money to go to war? And besides, I've heard that the Shogun is perfectly willing to just go along with whatever the Imperial Army wants. I don't think Katsu feels the same way. Kondo frowned. He crossed his arms, bent his chest, and spoke up. Nagakora, Harada, these are direct orders from the Shogunate. Hey, it's true that the Shogun is publicly defying the Imperial Army, but his situation isn't exactly ideal. However, if we can protect Kofu Castle, then perhaps he'll think that the Shogunate actually has a chance to win this war, putting his full resources behind it. This isn't just a matter of winning or losing. The men in charge are saying that we're a force skilled and dedicated enough to defend Kofu. And now we know they're really just trying to get you the fuck out of the way for some shit. That's so sad. Isn't our duty as warriors, then, to give all we can to this fight? Don't you agree, Nagakura? You're really gonna try and gloss over it like that? I'm the captain of the Shinsengumi, but I'm not your retainer. Kondo looked upset, but Harada spoke up before he could say anything. Hey, Saito, what's your take on all this? Hey, wait! Oh, oh my precious one. I will do whatever is commanded of me. All eyes turned to Hijikata, who was observing the amicable commotion before him quietly. He's like, I'll do whatever you say, and I'll probably die, and like, whatever. Saito seems to be... It's almost like he's the gloomy one. You know, he's probably not, but he's just like... He's the Eeyore of the group. They're like, hey, Saito, go over there, and probably get shot, and he's like, as you wish. Okay. Alright, I'm just gonna go over. Eeyore would go over there sadly, okay, I'll go to my death. But he's just so like, whatever you say. Okie dokie. Like, oh, you poor precious thing. That's the strength of his character. He's like, this is what I've committed to, but okay. Everybody else protests, wait, this is stupid. And he's like, it's probably stupid, but whatever you tell me to do. Like, oh, my little robot. Well, we should round up some more men if we're gonna go to war with the Imperial Army. If we don't do well at Kofu Castle, I'm sure the Shogunate will send us some reinforcements. If we do well at Kofu Castle, I'm sure the Shogunate will send us some reinforcements. You know I should learn to read. Anyway. Awanokami? Why would he be calling him by his first name? Are you, like, in that kind of relationship with him? What the fuck? As far as Awanokami goes, doesn't matter how much he hates war. I'm sure he knows that sometimes you can't avoid it. Yeah, that's a way to just... sure. Yeah. Keep telling yourself that. I mean, if the Shogunate loses, then he and all the rest of the vassals are out of a job. I don't think they'd want us to lose. Yeah, I guess you got a point. When Hijikata put it that way, it seemed like Nagakura had nothing more to oppose. Yet, shall we head for the mountain near Kofu first, and prepare for night raids? Fury Corps isn't going this time. You're staying here. Why? If the Shogun does send us reinforcements, I can't afford to let them see you. Besides, there are going to be a lot more men at Kofu. You'll get spotted, and then what's the point of having a secret division? But... Hey! The war's just started! We shouldn't be in such a rush, Sanin. I saw Hijikata and Heisuke exchange a quick look. They must have realized how Sanin would react and talked it over beforehand. To me, at least, there seemed to be silent agreement. Alright then, everyone return to your rooms. We have some time before we leave, so make sure you get your affairs in order. And we didn't go through his normal spiel, which is good, because I really didn't want to read it again. That was that. The captains left for their stations, seeking to brief their subordinates and prepare for battle. Only Hijikata remained behind to begin sifting through the massive stacks of paper and maps. I timidly approached him. Hijikata, are you sure it'll be okay? Well, will what be okay? What will be okay? This war, it's going to be difficult, isn't it? As opposed to any other war, which is easy. They're all difficult. Girl, wouldn't it have been better to take the Fury Corps along? Oh, that... He sighed and set down the map he'd been studying. He's like, can you not fucking see I'm busy? Yes, but it doesn't matter. I'm a girl. We're like cats. Are you busy? Are you looking at something? I'm going to crawl into your lap and stare at you. What are you doing? You're reading? Huh? Were you trying to read that book? Nope. Not on my watch, motherfucker. Sorry. I was laughing too hard. Okay. Get his voice back. I'm not doing good with it right now, but anyway. Remember when that Princess Sen, or whatever her name was? Wow, rude. Warned us about the Furies killing people. Princess Sen didn't do it. It was Kimikiko, and you should know because she was all flirting with you, and you were like, enjoying it, so shut up. Yes? Well, I think it might have been Sonnen. It was not! You stop it! Keep calm and have faith in Sonnen! Have faith in Sonnen. Mother, I need that on a fucking t-shirt. I'm gonna design a fucking t-shirt or something and just... People are gonna be like, what does that mean? It's none of your bit. If you don't know, I can't tell you. Anyway. What? The Fury Corps are ace in the hole. And I can't have them murdering people in the streets to satisfy their bloodlust. During Toba Fushimi, they used silver bullets on the Fury Core, which made them essentially useless. I mean, bullets would make anybody useless, so silver bullets making the Furies useless. I mean, it's just bringing them down to normal, so. Until we can figure out how to counteract the silver problem, I need to have Sun and stay here. Heisuke will keep an eye on him. We also might need to go collect arms for a counterattack. A counterattack? Does that mean he was even planning for a possible loss at Kofu? This next fight is going to be a big one. We probably shouldn't take you, but if I leave you here, Kazama might decide to try and snatch you again. So I'm taking you with us. But you watch yourself and stay out of trouble. I tell you to jump. You say how high, got it? Yes, sir. Okay. I could feel a nervous knot forming in my stomach, but Hijikata had to have a far greater case of nerves than I did. I must work hard not to get in anyone's way. Interesting. March 1868. I mean, again, his chapters seem to be long. Like, we're normally rolling all up into chapter 2 at this point. You know what I mean? We still have one more choice left in this. But we don't have any fucking CGs yet. The fuck? I guess because this is so long, but then I would think his is a little bit longer, and we have more CGs, so there would be one by now. Disappointed in you, game. It was morning on the day we left for Kofu. Everyone's up already. Huh? The common room was full of men dressed in clothing I'd never seen before. We got makeovers. It usually happens in chapter 2. We're doing this in chapter 1. Oh, hey, Spacey. You're up pretty early. Huh? Your clothes. Are you really Nagakora? Oh, what are you wearing? She's like, I can't tell you. I know what you're wearing, and I don't know what your faces look like. That's what it sounds like. I know it's not what she's saying, but... The commander ordered us to dress in Western clothing when we go into battle from now on. Oh, God, I love you two together. Again, this is another sandwich I just want to squeeze in between. I'll be the meat in that sandwich. Hold on. Let me just shove myself in there. Our enemies will be wearing Western clothing. Seems like we'd better too if we want to win. Sure, that's sound logic. Not really, but okay. Really? She's more, it's not like really, it's like really, logic doesn't sound right there, but. They just pan from the waist. I need a full body pan up. Hijikata was dressed predominantly in black, and his outfit gave him an elegant look. Yeah, especially with like probably a pocket watch chain going on there. It's sexy as shit. It suited him well. He looked as handsome as an Hector, which we've already established prior. I couldn't help but admire him for a moment. Something wrong? Am I wearing it wrong? Yes, because it's not on the floor. I mean, what? She would never say that. But we're the thoughts in her mind. She says and does stupid things, but we're intelligent back here somewhere. Oh, no! No, definitely not. You're strange. You're hot. I mean, you're fine. I mean, you're gorgeous. I mean, have sex with me. What? Literally, what would have just spewed out of her mouth if she opened it? Wait, Kondo's not wearing Western clothes. He's like, ha ha ha, not good enough for me. They're just so tight, and I can't stand walking in these. I think they're called shoes. Do you not wear shoes? I mean, I understand the, like, what is this called? A fork? Because you use chopsticks. So, like, a fork would be like, what the fuck? That's like the first time anyone in the West saw chopsticks. They were like, what the fuck? Chopsticks? You know what I'm saying? But, like, you had things that you put on your feet beforehand. And I'm pretty sure you probably called them shoes. Are you trying to say that you are trying to use the English word shoes? Like, instead of the Japanese, it's the same fucking thing. They go on your feet. They're shoes. I know you call them something different, but that's what I'm confused about. Did you not have them before? It's like not having something. It's like looking at a fork and being like this, fork? even though it's, you know what a fork is, it's just a different word for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, what? I can't. You wear shoes now! I guess they're more like socks and sandals, which they obviously haven't got the memo that that's just crazy. Do you know what I mean? But still, it's like, they're still shoes. If they go on your feet and protect your feet, they're still shoes. Slippers are still shoes. I'm not even kidding. I guess they're not technically shoes. It's like calling a truck a car. It's not really. It's a motor vehicle. And I get, what do you call it when you just, is it just footwear? Like things that wear you, what would you call it generally? You generally call it shoes. If it goes on your feet, it's a shoe. You know what I mean? Aside from socks, you know what I mean? Like, but I guess slippers aren't really shoes, are they? I'm literally, you know, it's funnier because I'm looking at my slippers that I'm wearing, which have happy ladybugs, which are just thinking of them as shoes. And the more you say the word shoe, the funnier it gets. I'm not drunk, I swear. Shoes is just a funny word. Say it about 10 times. Then try it with waffle and idiot, because those are the best words ever. Anyway, I just wouldn't feel like a real warrior in those things. I guess I'm being childish about it, but that's my right. Everybody else has to do it, but not me. Fuck that shit. Dick. You're fine. It's not like you'll be on the front lines. You just have to act dignified for the troops. So you're basically just like Ronald McDonald. You're just a fucking mascot. Got it. Your presence alone is enough to inspire the men. Really? You're gonna make me blush. Wow. Kondo, I always liked you, but every once in a while in this one, like this whole game in Outlet Paths, it's like, you're getting to be a little bit of a cocky son of a bitch. And, again, losing my faith in you a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, he always seems so great, and like, it's not that he's not a nice person, we don't love, like, we love Kondo, don't get me wrong, but like, he just like, oh, I just stand here and look good, and it's like, you're starting to become kind of a dick in this route, and I'm losing my faith in you in all the different, in this game. It just makes me sad. What you looking at? It's a squirrel. It's a couple of squirrels. They're not gonna hurt you. They're just running up and down the trees. Anyway, well, let's be off then. To Kofu Castle. Yeah, sure. We laugh for about 10 minutes about shoes. What are these called? Shoes? Look, if you were the little fucking mermaid and you just got feet, what are they called? Feet? Yeah, that's what I'm imagining too. Like, walking around on those, what do they call them? Oh, feet. That's exactly what I feel. It's like, did you not fucking have shoes before? You had shoes. You just... Girl. Anyway. And thus, the Shinsengumi assumed the name Koyo Regulatory Company, and we headed for Kofu by way of Hachioji. Hachioji, yeah. I was like, wait, what? It's funny because we always have to mention the Koyo Regulatory Company, and then we, like, mention it, like, maybe twice, and then never again. And we keep calling them the Shinsengumi. Probably because if the game started calling them the Koyo Regulatory Company, we'd be like, fuck that shit. Once the Shinsengumi, always the Shinsengumi. Except for when they were the Roshigumi, but we weren't there for that, so. On the way, Kondo split from the main group to visit his hometown. Hang out with his wife and kid, which, I mean, is understandable, but also just pal around, leave us to the thick of things, fuck us over, ends up getting kidnapped. You know... Kondo, I'm not going to blame Sonnen for betraying us in Saito's path and handling it because it's kind of your own fucking fault. You know, just saying. You got a little uppity. Basically. You got a little full of yourself. Not saying that if you get a little full of yourself that your life lesson should be to be beheaded. You know. But I'm just saying. Where's Kondo? I don't see him around. Oh, the chief still seems not to have caught up to the main troop. Kondo still isn't caught up yet? How long is he gonna sit around that inn getting drunk? Oh, hell, he probably hasn't been home in a while. Or probably wants to show off how successful he's been. Gotta sneeze. Life. Hold on again. Jesus, that hurts. And not to mention, I'm sure he wants to visit his wife and daughter. He hasn't seen them in a long time. Yeah, that. I can't really blame him for that. Show off, huh? We're marching to war. You really think this is the time for that shit? Actually, though, to be fair to him now, I'm going to take that back by bitching 2 seconds ago. If he didn't go see his wife and daughter, he'd probably never have seen them again. So he's been gone for like 4 or 5, God knows, at least years, right? Maybe longer. He finally gets to see them again, and then he's gonna basically die. So if he didn't go, he would never have seen them again. So, you know, huh. Wow. Yeah. Alright. Supposedly there are a few people who are interested in joining the in Hachioji. I was like, joining the Hachioji? Wait, what? Okay, Okay. He also has to assess them, too. Well, a better way to get to know new soldiers than by sharing a drink with them, Well, yeah, you got a point, but... Hichikata's eyes narrowed, and Nagakura looked unsatisfied as Hichikata muttered to himself. If we gathered enough recruits before we left, then Kondo wouldn't be out there right now. Hichikata's words cut like a knife. The Shinsengumi had made a name for themselves in Kyoto, true, but the Shogunate was faced with a numerically superior force. We no longer had the luxury of interviewing potential recruits and taking the best ones. Now we had to offer money and alcohol to attract them. Hijikata would have rather cut off his own arm than stoop that low, but he had no choice. Saito just goes runs. I can just imagine him like flying up, like running around, like, and then just standing there, stone faced like a fucking robot. Now I'm gonna give my report. All right, good. I need you to do this. Okay. Runs off really fast, just because it's comic and weird. Commander, there's something I need to tell you. What is it? It seems that the enemy has already conquered Kofu Castle. What? What? I can't do that in Hijikata's voice. I gotta like do long sentences because I can't just do one word. It doesn't come out right. I don't know why. I've got an urgent update on the situation. Go get the chief now. Yes, sir. Okay, this is a perfect place to end it. Okay, so I'm gonna wrap this part up here. We're still in chapter 1, so his route might actually be long. So I'm quite shocked by that. I really figured it would be at least... I was thinking 6 parts. That's what I was estimating for him and Kazama each. And Kazama's was really only 4 parts with the bad endings. But Kazama also didn't have as many bad endings, so... But Hijikata's obviously going to have the same. But I figured we'd at least we'd probably get a little bit longer. So I don't know, because we're probably going to... The 6th part would obviously be the ending part, but we'll see. So at this rate, yeah, I mean, I'm pleasantly surprised, because I was kind of worried after doing Kazama that I'm like, what, is Hijikata's going to be really fucking short too? Like, or like everyone else's, where each chapter is a part, and we really only get 5, so this might be a little bit longer, so we'll see. But anyway, I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.